Hello and welcome to my free Amp-Effects chain. The guitar I'm using in this video is my PRS SE Custom. The chain I'm using in this video is as such. I'm going from my PRS SE Custom guitar into my Boss T3 tuner, then into my interface, and then into Reaper my DAW. And then in Reaper I have set up this guitar effects chain for this video. Welcome into Reaper, and this is the effects chain. All the plugins but one are free. There's one that isn't free, and I'll come to that as we go down the chain. And after the explanation of this chain, I'll move on to the amp itself, which is Soft Amp PSA. It's an old amp, it's free, and it's really good. So we will check out different settings, and the first setting that I will come to will be this one here, which is for a clean guitar setting. But we'll come to that in a moment once we've gone through the effects chain. So first in line, this noise gate, and it's Reaper's own noise gate. Now you can download these for free, I believe, even if you're not a Reaper user. But I use it because I use Reaper and it's great. So that's the first one. We have this freebie here, and this is basically a Tube Screamer clone. Just look at the settings that I've got going on, okay, and that will be brought in one of the examples. Then we have the amp itself, and I'm using this as a preamp, and there's a preamp section here. You could use it without power amp, but I like having the power amp behind just to give it a bit more realism, a bit more oomph. Then I'm going to move into the power amp. I've used this in another video, so you know about this if you've watched that video. Of course, on the back panel we have this going on. Okay, so we will come back to the front, and then this is the one plugin that is not free. It's an old one, it's Recabinet, it's by Kazrog. I've had it for ages, for years. I just felt like using it today. In your situation, if you want free IRs, I've done video with a free IR loader. There are plenty about, and just download one if you haven't already got one, and then bring in your own IRs to add your own flavour. And then last but not least, I have this reverb here. Okay, this is excellent. It's for free and it beats a lot of paid ones, I have to say. It is Oral River. For a freebie, it's amazing. There will be a link to all the free plugins here in the description box below this video. So now that we've gone through that, let's go to our main focus, which is the preamp here. And we're going to start here. Now, to be perfectly honest, I have no idea what this does. I like it, this setting. I'm kind of thinking that it may be some kind of gate of sorts, but I'm not entirely sure. There's a graphic view here, so when we start playing, you'll see some movement in this box. Now, to enable the actual preamp and the functionality of it, you want to enable here, press here to enable, and then you've got a gain, a bias function, and I've explained what bias means in the previous video, and level. And then that goes into the preamp section. So we have the preamp knob here. Buzz, this will bring in more low end. Okay, so that's what that does. Punch basically brings more punch to the sound. Crunch and drive are self-explanatory. I've got them off for the moment because this is the cleaner amp setting. Low, high, so a basic EQ, and overall level. And then down here we have these knobs to turn these sections on. I'm using oversampling at 16x. I can enable stereo if I want, but I'm not enabling it at the moment because I'm using a mono guitar sound. And then this is the speaker sim. Okay, so when it is actually in and working, you'll find that this will change, as you can see. At the moment, that's how it is, but we can change it to change the sound. So that would be less low end, as you can see in the EQ graph here, and then pushing more high end. So that's around about 6K. We can scoop out some mid-range and push the low end and the high end by doing that. And the roll off will do as it suggests, it rolls off the high end and it actually accentuates the low end and brings that dip forward a bit in the mid-range. But we're going to go back to how it was at the beginning there. So that's an overall overview of this plugin. So this is the clean setting, as you can see here, and we are going to move on and have a listen to the clean setting. Right, so this is the amp on a driven setting. Think of a crunch amp. Some of the knobs have changed. We've got the buzz almost at 9 o'clock here, and as I mentioned earlier, this brings a bit more depth, a bit more low end into the signal. Preamp is lowered slightly, just because we're going to have a more driven sound. The punch has gone from 0 up to almost 1 o'clock. Crunch sound has gone from 0 up to, let's say, 10 o'clock. The drive knob has gone from 0 up to 1 o'clock. The low and high and level are all the same. These have remained, this has gone up slightly for gain, and everything else has remained the same, including the EQ here. So now that we've gone through that, the chain is exactly as it was before. We haven't instantiated the drive pedal yet, okay, so that is not in yet. So we're just using the preamp and the power amp as a source, along with the cabinet and the reverb. Let's go and check out the sound of a driven amp. If you're enjoying watching this video, please consider smashing that like button and subscribing to my channel so that I can keep on bringing this free content. We are now going on to the higher gain amp setting, and that is going to be including a Tube Screamer clone pedal. All the settings on the amp here are exactly the same as they were in the driven amp, but it's just been driven a bit more by this pedal. So I've instantiated it. It's by Ignite Amps and it's the TS999 Tube Screamer. Okay, take a look at the settings I'm using. It has a back panel, and on this back panel I have in buffer and out buffer both on, and I have oversampling on at 8x. Everything else will be exactly the same cabinets all the way through, same setting on the Aural River reverb, same settings on the power amp. So the only change here will be the Tube Screamer. So let's go and have a listen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Sabs out.